What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Social Media Mindset Podcast. And I'm excited today because I have a guest from outside of the real estate and mortgage world. And I love to kind of peek behind the curtain of other industries and what other people are doing so that we can learn from more than just those already doing it inside of the industry. And so I've got JADE TINNER with me. And before I tell you about JADE, let me tell you how we know each other. There's a nonprofit in Dallas-Fort Worth called Empower DFW. I sit on the board of this nonprofit. What we do is we serve the entrepreneurship community of Dallas-Fort Worth. And so it's simply our goal to give back, to serve them, to help them grow, to celebrate the manifestations in their brains that need to become businesses. And so JADE sits on one of our committees. I feel like there's probably a future board seat for you. I feel like that's coming. But, Jay, this is how we know each other. And I love your nickname. You are known as the brand enhancer, which I love. And we're going to talk about this. And then you're the founder of One Unified Resource Foundation. It is a nonprofit for young men where you do mentorship, where you partner with adult men that mentor the young men. You do a men's brunch. Through this, we'll dig a little bit deeper into this as well. But you're also, because why would you not want to just be more busy? But you're the co-founder of Pink Office, right? It's a creative studio for women in the heart of Dallas. Very, very cool. You're also the co-founder of the HBCU Invitational, right? And so you are a 4-year D1 basketball player. So sports are a big passion of yours. I think, not to name drop, but I think you were working out with Dwight Howard last week. So not a big deal. Me and Luca had lunch yesterday. So,
we're all in the...
we're cool. I'm cool too. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not cool. We're going to commit this whole episode to branding. And so, Jade, first of all, thank you for coming on the show.
I'm so excited, Kyle. Thank you so much for having me.
So talk to us about... you're known as the brand enhancer. Talk to us a little bit about your story. How did you, wake up one day and find yourself in the marketing world the way you are?
I think it just was kind of came with birth. According to my mom, I was kind of defiant as a child. But to me, I've always been my own person. I've always wanted to figure out things on my own and explore. I'm a people person. I've played sports. I've been in the spotlight. So communication just came naturally to me. Of course, whenever I was getting ready to go to college and pick a major, I'm like, marketing sounds like the one for me. I get to talk to people. I get to tell them about things. Seems super easy until I got to accounting. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is the right path for me. Thanks. But marketing is such a broad industry, such a broad term, that I was able to kind of navigate my way through different industries, still focused on marketing, and then found myself in public relations. I love being behind the scenes. I love working with people to elevate their projects or them as individuals. I worked in entertainment PR for a little while and then figured out that I'm a sleepy person, so I don't like being up all night. So now I am specifically focused on working with entrepreneurs and business professionals who are looking to elevate their careers by working on their personal brands.
Yeah, so I want to dig into brand because, old school is... when we think of brand, we think business cards, pins with your logo on them and colors. But branding, this is why I love your nickname, the brand enhancer, because to me, that nickname is establishing you already are that brand. Let me come in and give a little enhancement to it. Right? Let me give it a facelift. And so what do people overlook when it comes to having a personal brand?
So the first thing that I dive in with people is finding your values and aligning them with the work. If you have your values in place and you stick to them, that's going to show through your brand. So for me, for instance, faith, responsibility, leadership, community, and relationships. Those are the values that I live by. If it does not fall into one of those categories, then it does not align with what I need to be doing right now because I have things to do and I'm on a mission. So being intentional about being in alignment is the first thing I tell them. You don't want to be pretending to be somebody else because then it's hard to, it's hard to carry out that facade all the time. So aligning your brand with who you actually are is number one.
So I love this. And so inside of this, because I know you put on like a full day workshop a few months back where you help walk people through this. And then you and I were talking the other day about even taking that to another level in the real estate world. So stay tuned, people, because some stuff is coming that you might want to know about. And so, Jade, when you talk about like identifying your values and then aligning them with your work, like what's an exercise that you walk people through that go, that sounds cool, but like, I don't know, like what my values are? Like, how do you kind of baby step people into understanding this for themselves?
Okay, so I'm all about fun and providing an experience. So, first step is, getting your mind right. So as you mentioned, I did a retreat a couple months back. How we started that was professional mindset training. So I had someone come in, we sat there, we meditated, we got into our space. She talked about, just breathing, aligning ourselves with where we feel our purpose is. And then from there, when we get to the values part, it's super easy. I have card games. So I allow people to play.
Oh, cool.
Play the
Okay.
games, it's super easy. The words that stand out to you, then find the pictures that stand out to you. And then that's how we figure out what your core values are. And then from there, we move into what some would call a vision board of where you want to be.
Okay.
So then it's aligning those values with the future you, and then figuring out everything in between to get you to that point.
I love it. So as somebody develops envisions the future them, right? Now we've got to actually like put ourselves out there. So you do an unbelievable job, and we'll have all of your social links and all of that in the show notes so that people can go follow you. But you do such an unbelievable job of being present online. Like, I never wonder what you're doing because I see it, right? I get to see it and then feel exhausted because I'm like, how in the world does this person do this? And so I feel like in my line of work, this is the hardest part for people, is seeing enough value in themselves to actually be documenting their journey and putting things out there. And so how do you work with the person that they've identified their values, they're aligning it with their work, but then they get so bogged down with like, Jade, nobody cares about what I'm doing. Nobody cares about me having a photo shoot. Nobody. So how do you help people overcome that?
So is always my answer. So somebody cares. You care. And that's the most important thing. You're never in competition with anybody else. It's always you versus you. Elevating, accomplishing new goals, achieving new heights. It's all about you. So the most important thing is you're documenting your own journey. Other people are just, along for the ride. You said I'm visible on social media. There's so much other stuff in my phone that I don't even put out. But as you can see through my social media, you get all parts of me. You don't just get, the business side of me. You get me working out. You get me hanging out with my friends. You get my life, because my life is my brand. Mm-hmm.
Right. I love that. My life is my brand. So talk to me about like because I'm sure you've had people say this, like, Jade, why you post so much? Why do you put so much out there? Right? Because people say this to me as well. And so this is two parts. What is your response to them? And then how do you overcome like not letting that cause you to go, oh, maybe I do post too much. Maybe I do need to pull back, because gosh, that negative talk can affect me in a big way.
Right.
If I don't protect it.
So to be honest, I have really kind of just started getting into the space of showing myself. The majority of my business has come through just me being in the community, actually being hands-on, working on projects, collaborating with people. So word of mouth has been bringing me my clients. But now that we are in this new digital space, of course, with everything with the pandemic and having the majority of businesses focused on the digital aspect, I've had to more so showcase myself online, because we didn't have the one-on-one or face-to-face contact that we had prior to. So to be honest, I really don't feel like I post that much. More so story posts, but there's so much of my life that is not even on display. And I've honestly haven't heard too much, of course, maybe from like my mom or, you know, parents and be like, putting all your business on social media. But I haven't really heard that from, you know, friends or associates or followers. The question I get the most is, how do you put all of yourself on social media, because you do so many things? How do you display all of your brands, all of your businesses on social media? And, you know, to most of them, I'm like, you know, there's a strategy behind it. Most of it's just me having fun. I'm all about providing an experience. And if you're around me, you're going to get the same experience that you get through my social media.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because you've got, you know, you're the founder of a nonprofit. You're the co-founder of, you know, Pink Office. You're the co-founder of the HBCU. Then you also, I mean, we left out, or the HBCU Invitational, not of the literal, you know, not of the HBCU. That you would be way too famous to be on my podcast if you had been that person. You also sit on the board of multiple nonprofits. You're on a committee with our nonprofit. Like, you have your hands in a lot of stuff. So how do you pick and choose what gets talked about, what doesn't? You know, is it, you know, everything gets a post a week? Like, in your brain, how do you kind of arrange everything so that everything kind of gets its fair due?
Well, going back to the first thing I said, if it doesn't align with my values, then it doesn't take precedent. I think what comes first is, you know, what I'm passionate about, what I'm excited about. Again, I provide an experience. So if I'm excited, somebody around me is going to get excited. I vibrate high. My energy is usually high. So people around me feel it too. The next thing after what excites me is where I think people need education. And that's what you're here for. That's what I'm here for, is to provide a service, to provide education, to enlighten people on ways that they can elevate themselves, whether it's through marketing or branding or just networking, period. So those are how I identify what information needs to be put out for my personal brand. Now, for my organizations, my businesses that I work with, it is, you know, I'm marketing the business. Hey, ladies, we need you at the Pink Office. Look at all this cool stuff that we have. You can come here, take photo shoots, do podcasts, you know, if you just need a quiet place to work. So we're sharing information that people are asking for. Once we're creating a need, that's the part. We're creating a need, and then we're finding a solution. I am a person that is constructive criticism, or for lack of better term, people telling you you're doing something wrong. If it doesn't have a solution behind it, then it's irrelevant. So I'm always going to be solution focused when I'm putting information out.
I love it. I had a boss, he used to say, don't drop a critique bomb. Because we love, right? Being an armchair quarterback is so easy to go, well, Jade, you should have done that better. And then I just leave. And it's like, wait, you don't want to help me with anything. You just want to criticize. That's the world we live in right now.
And so
go ahead.
You know, changing that narrative of enhancing, like, that's the whole part of the enhancing part is, I see what you have going on, but let's tweak this a little bit and take it to the next level.
I love that. So, you know, we talked about, like, my audience is realtors and lenders. You haven't personally worked with tons of realtors and lenders to this point in your career, but I'm assuming you have friends that are realtors and lenders, and so you watch them online, or you throw up in your mouth when you see them online, because most of them are horrible at this. That's why we do this. What have you, like, as you've just watched some of your friends that are in real estate, in mortgage, what are some things, just being on the outside looking in, that you could give as just tips of, gosh, if I was a realtor, I would be doing more of this or less of that. Is there anything that comes to mind?
So I have friends on like both ends of the spectrum. So I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I have some that I'm a realtor. This is what I do. This is how I live. They are selling a lifestyle. They are selling a brand. They are posting videos. They are putting pictures out. So all that is great too, but it's the results behind it. We can show all day, or we can talk about it all day, but what are the results behind it? So if I was in that position, which I have been as a new business owner, putting information out about what I'm doing is just putting information out. Nobody's going to know if you don't tell them. It could be as simple as, a text post saying, hey, I'm a realtor. Find out more about what I do. I can help you. Those friends of mine who are just starting out, that is what I'm constantly telling them. Just put something out. Just put something out. Just post something. People are going to ask questions. I know we talked about now, with the real estate market being where it is, and everybody is a realtor, and they don't necessarily have to be great at what they do right now just because of the current economy.
Sure.
But afterwards, what are you going to fall back on? If no one knows that you're a realtor outside of the booming housing market, then you're not going to have any clientele after this. So being consistent, consistency is absolutely the key in everything. I've heard that all my life. Playing sports is just being consistent. Practice doesn't make perfect, but it makes better. Okay, so what I would say is to continuously just put yourself out there, put the information out there. Even if it's just one person asking, you're still educating someone, and that one person could be the one person that you need that tells 20 people, and now you're overbooked and you're super busy.
Right. Yeah, it's so good. I had a coach one time. He was talking to a whole group of us, and he said, let me ask you a question. Would you rather have an email list of 20,000 or an email list of 1? And of course, everybody's like, duh, 20,000. And he said, but what if the 1 is Oprah? Mm-hmm. And obviously, very quickly, we go, yeah, I'd way rather have Oprah in my corner than 20,000 random people on an email list. And so we just never know, right? You never know when, because you're present online, an investor finds you, loves what y'all are doing at Pink Office, and they go, Jade, have you considered opening up 20 of these around the country? And you're like,
yes, absolutely.
What?
So if any investors are watching this podcast, we are open.
That's right. Yeah, we are open to that. Our seed money is always open for people to give to. So we never know. Right? And you know this from being a D1 basketball player. You can't score unless you're in the game.
You miss 100%.
Right? It's so easy to sit on the bench and go 100%. So I love sports, and so I want to make sure we talk some sports, and we'll figure out how to make it about marketing. What if you look at your career as a D1 athlete? What did being a college athlete do to help prepare you for now what you do with marketing and branding?
I think that was the ultimate training. This is where the consistency part, the mental toughness part, some of the questions that you've already asked me, like how do you overcome negative opinions or negative questions? It's literally what I had to do every day. I'm clumsy. I'm tripping and falling and all types of stuff, but I have to get up every time. I have to be there to make a play. I have my role on the team. And as the brand enhancer, I have my role on your team. Is to help you elevate your brand. Mm-hmm. Media training. I was in front of cameras talking about, the games, talking about myself. Also prepared me to be able to work with people. I've been on a countless amount of teams, played against and with so many other women, different personalities, but still having to be in control of myself and knowing who I am and what role I'm supposed to play so that we can achieve the ultimate goal that everybody is is trying to reach, and that's to win the game. And so,
Yeah.
my other nickname is Jade Tinner, the winner. Okay, because I never lose. So
Come on.
join the winning team.
I love it. I love that. And what I love the most about what you said is where you talked about, like, I think it's easy when you say the goal, right? I think it's easy for most people to identify, well, duh, like the goal is to win the game, right? In business, the goal is to make money. The goal is to get more clients. But what you also said, though, is what's your role inside of the goal? And I think this is where a lot of entrepreneurs struggle, is because, you could have an entrepreneur that's very business minded. And so in their mind, their goal is to, like, focus on the P&L and worry about, the internal things. And then we're looking at them going, yeah, but nobody knows you exist. You got to get out there. You gotta be present in front of people. And so understanding your role is so powerful. And for those of you listening, I want you to ask yourself that question today. Inside of your business, what is your role? What is it that only you can do, that you're waiting on somebody else to do, that you wish you could just pay somebody to do? When the reality is, if you would just get your values in alignment with your work, like we talked about at the very beginning, and then realize that what's most attractive about you is just the passion that you have for what it is that you do, right? That's what I love watching about you, is just all the different things you're doing, all the nonprofits you're a part of, just the zest and the zeal that just oozes out of you. It makes me go, man, I want to be in that room. Like, where's that room at? I want to go to that room, because whatever room Jade is in is the fun room. And this is what I don't see from most entrepreneurs, is when they show up online, it looks like they don't even enjoy what they're doing. And so why would I pick you to be my accountant if every time you talk about accounting, you're like, all right, guys, we're going to talk about accounting. And I know it's boring, but we're going to. And so maybe the biggest thing that somebody gets from this episode is, like, go figure out what it is that you can just naturally be passionate about and start talking about that. Is that good advice?
It's good advice. And side note, to anybody who is an accountant, I really feel like you're a superhero. Because like, you are a superhero. And that's how you should act when you're talking about accounting, because without those numbers don't lie. Okay? Yes.
We're in big trouble. So, Jade, you just mentioned this, and I was saving this for the end, but right after I introduced you, you just kind of threw in there, like, you're on a mission. And so talk to us about, like, when you say you're on a mission, like, what does that mean for you inside of the brand enhancer brand of yours, the nonprofits, the pink office? Like, unlock that mission for us that just keeps you hungry, wakes you up every day, gives you all this energy.
We're all put here for a reason. We wake up every day for a reason. And I'm very much a big picture person. Whenever I think about my future, my businesses have no parts of it. It is me and my future kids and my future husband traveling the world, teaching our children, everything that's out there. But I know in order for me to get there, that there are things in between that I have to accomplish. I have done a whole lot of things in my 32 years of life, but there's so much more. People often ask me, like, what's your greatest achievement? I'm like, it hasn't happened yet. But these things also come, whatever you believe in, God, all of my things are God-given. And I'm just consistently trying to listen and follow instruction. And when I do, things just align. And so I know that I'm on the right path, that I'm doing the right thing. If they don't align, then I remove myself, because I got things to do and I don't have time. I don't have time to, for trial and error. I did that for a while. So now that we've gotten, consistent again and focused and making sure that I am staying aligned with my values, everything is going.
Well, Jade, I just want to, before we start wrapping this up, I just want to personally tell you that, like, there's just people that have it, and we can't really put our finger on, like, what it is, how to teach it, how to give it to people, but you have it, and it is a joy to watch. I love watching all the stories unfold in you and through you, and having you be a part of Empowered DFW and in our event coming up here really soon. It's incredible. And so I first just want to thank you for everything that you do to serve people, because it matters and it's noticed.
Thank you. I'm not, everything is bigger than me. It's bigger than me.
That's right. Amen to that. So, and if you get 60 more seconds, right, to give one final tip, one final plea, one final word of encouragement as the listeners are trying to enhance their brand and figure this out, what would it be?
My advice would be to stay lit. And lit is an acronym for
Come on.
Live Intentional Today. Focus on today.
Let's
Yes.
go.
So if you hear me, if you follow me on social media, you'll probably hear me say that or see it. Like, I'm lit, it's lit, because we're going to live intentional today. So whatever goals we are focused on, we're going to go get them today. We're going to put in the work today.
I love it. And am I cool enough to say lit? I feel like
lit.
I'm too old.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
Yeah, say it.
Because I'm going to try it, and it's going to feel stupid, but
You
I
got to
love
say it
it.
with enthusiasm. It's lit. You know?
Come on. Well, this has been, Jade, this has been a lit podcast episode, one that I'm excited to, and it just, it didn't roll off the tongue like it does when you say it, so I'm going to have to practice in the mirror a few times. But Jade, how does everybody find you?
I am super easy to find. My name is Jade TINNER. On all social media platforms, it's @Jade TINNER. My website, jadetinner.com. I try to make things easy, okay, for everybody.
That's right. That's because you're good at branding. Well, we will have all that in the show notes. Jade, thank you for making this an unbelievable episode. Guys, reach out, talk to her, let her help you, and get ready for some stuff that's coming in the future. So, Jade, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, and you're lit too, Kyle.
Oh, thank you. Your check is in the mail for making me feel cool today. Guys, thank you for listening to another episode of the Social Media Mindset Podcast. We'll be back real soon with another cool person with an even cooler story. See ya.